Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. So it's time to talk about Warlords of New York, the Division 2 expansion, and it came out a couple days ago. And well, my experience with was okay at best. I'm not gonna deny the concept of expansion is exactly what I probably wanted for the Division 2. As I said on itself, that it was really what I wanted. I didn't want a new season or a new, although we kind of got it, but a new year 2 pass. I didn't want that stuff because it already proved to be a problem. As long as they have to fix content on the game, yearly content is nightmarish. That's why the live service proven to be a fucking flaw. We are seeing this on Ghost Recon Breaking Point, on Anton, and well, on the Division 2. They have to fix the game, and they are bound by their quote-unquote roadmap, and quote-unquote being bound by, to deliver the content. And because of that, many people have the feeling that the year 1 was very underwhelming, and I will agree. Even though I didn't play most of the content at the point that the year 1 was finished. And even now, I don't think I found year 1 very good. But that was something about the past. Let's talk about, well, now. The Warlords of New York expansion. As I already said once, I think an expansion was safe and good bet. I do not agree with the fact they are double dipping. Even though they are selling you expansion, then we want to sell you a seasonal track, a battle pass or something like that to get a little bit of more of money out of you. Many people will say, oh, it's just cosmetics, but well, they are doing, aren't they? Now, let's start with what, well, everyone starts with. The gear conversion. I think that was one of my largest points. Let me be honest, I think I got the short end of the stick. You're gonna be seeing now a little bit of footage of me looking to my inventory and look to the stuff to see how my quote-unquote gear builds and whatever end up. I lost the feeling that I have is I lost the 200 plus hours that I put on the game went down the drain. Nothing that I made worth shit. And before anyone said, "Oh, that's how MMOs work," when a new gear cap end up happening, your gear become obsolete. That is partially true. You have to remember that the gear doesn't just vanish. It's not destroyed. It's not turned into dust. The gear will serve as the entry point for the next step, and that's where this game failed. I'm not talking about doing challenge or doing hard mode content right off the bat. I'm telling about walking on DC was a nightmare. It felt like I was bashing my head against a brick wall. The content was too hard, and I'm really saying story mode content. I decided to do the expedition, I think, on the Cambridge College thing, and I fail all the DPS checks on that mission. Why? Because my gear was not up to date. I didn't have enough things. Anything that I then would drop would be quote unquote wouldn't be even better because I would be on the all would be on the story level because I was doing story mode. I was not doing anything above that. I was not doing normal. I was not doing any hard or challenge or whatever comes above. I was doing story mode version of that, and I was getting demolished. The damage from the NPCs was a little bit too high, while my damage was fairly low. After doing the same thing 4 times, because yeah, I end up doing the last expedition 4 times because I had 2 soft locks where I couldn't move my character. I was frozen on the screen 2 times on the last investigation, and 2 other hard crashes. And because this, I don't know if how that worked, but when I came back, every fucking time I had to do all the other investigations on the same echo again. It took me a lot more time than it's supposed to. Then I got the rifle, the Diamondback, I think that's the name. And yeah, the game became a lot more easy. I'm not gonna lie. When I made that thing, when I dropped that thing, it's like, okay, I have a weapon and I can do damage. I end up like making a true Patriot set to work around, and it was not great, but it was enough to do the content until, because I didn't want to just go to New Warlords of New York. Because first, if you have a sane mind, you think, well, I can just go there, do the Warlords of New York. I at least have to have a something capable of doing damage. Well, that was not the case, and I'm going to go back on that in a little bit further. So I did Camp White Oak, I did the Pentagon, I did Cone Island. Took a lot of time. It was frustrating as hell, but I was able to do it. And in the end, I decided to start doing the Warlords of New York. But before we go to that, I want to talk about another point that really pisses me off. The exotics. I'll be honest, I never got to drop exotics. All my exotics were the questline ones, being Nemesis, Chatterbox, and Liberty. I never, during the old times, I never was able to get Merciless. I never was able to get the Lullaby. Not that I really want to get it. The Pestilence, yeah, I got a couple times from the Dark Zone, but I mostly dismantle and used to upgrade Chatterbox, upgrade the Nemesis, and so on and so forth. Again, I'm not gonna lie, I never got the Ego Bear because I didn't do the raid enough, so that's another point. But with all of that being said, lost all the exotics, and for example, now I got the Diamondback, but again, lost all the exotics is ridiculous. First, they are fairly weak compared to their counterparts, their pre-nerf counterparts. Being the fact that they lost their holster talent, being the fact that they mashed two of their talents together and then make some of the talents really, really bad. For example, the Chatterbox I couldn't use, and I end up using to a large amount of the time during the game. It was very, very subpar, but that was the equipment that I had at the time, and that what I used. But still, as I said, it was not great. Now there is the decision that Massive said, "Oh, we're not gonna give you the option to upgrade the exotics to level 40." And their reasoning is because they want you to use the new exotics. Well, that is bullshit. Let us be honest. I don't think there is a sniper rifle on the new exotics. I don't believe there is a rifle on the new exotics or a pistol. I don't know why you would use Liberty nowadays, since their holster talent is fairly underwhelming. I don't know, maybe there is a pistol build and make the Liberty be the best thing. There is a submachine gun, an LMG, and a assault rifle. I don't think that is good. I don't think that is enough good excuse to lock out. But that was the decision, and they say, oh, maybe we'll give you the opportunity to upgrade those later. Massive has this problem. They dug their heels in on some topics. Then I don't believe it. I don't know why they do, and it's completely against the core emphasis of a community-driven game. And in theory, live service is supposed to be that. They would take feedback from the community and fine-tune the game to be better. Something that we are not seeing that much. Gear 2.0 in theory is better. I will say that. It does simplify a lot of the things, although it takes a lot of the build diversity. It makes you really choose, you're gonna be a tank, you're gonna be a skill player, or you're gonna be a DPS. Uh, Hybrid builds are not a thing. You can kind of choose once in a, like, you can be a crit DPS or a headshot DPS. You can be a tank, it's gonna be only on armor, so it's gonna be a split between armor and armor regeneration. In skill build, you're gonna be a healer or a skill damage guy. There's not much diversity between the builds. The gear sets now, they work. They really kind of work. They have one more talent. Like, they will always have one more talent besides the against the brand set. Brand set will have 3. They will have their normal talents plus their magical thing. For example, I was using the True Patriot. You have the flag thing, and you have it on the backpack and on the chest piece. You have 2 other talents. While in brand sets, you're going to have almost a similar thing, but not good enough. Not only that, but the talent will always synergize from the gear sets. Will always synergize from the gear set. So it's a fairly more consistent thing to use. Now they require only 4. You can even place 2 brand sets to complement your gameplay style. Although the problem still stands, the same problem that I had before is still here. The Gear 2.0 is nothing more like I said before. You have a giant hole in your wall, and instead of fixing the hole, you decide to place a bookshelf on it. You still know the hole is there. You still can see the hole sometimes. People looking from outside will see the hole, but now you have a bookshelf and you can place things on it, and you hope that nobody notice. The fact then you can still only modify one talent or core attribute or attribute on the weapon, or on the, not only on the weapon, on the brand set, on the weapon too, but on the gear piece is still it is a very big detriment on the game itself. Not only that, but even if you just get you get things on the right level and you just fail one of the roles. For example, you fail the attribute role, you fail one of the attribute roles, or you fail the stat role, the core attribute, or the talent. Even if you want to swap that, you can't optimize the other one. So you're gonna be locked with, for example, a very low level rating on the attributes, or even on the core attributes. And that's the thing. Skill builds kinda gain an advantage because they only need to have, if they hit their core attribute, it's that. You don't have like to change, there is no way, for example, to have more than one skill tier, while on the case of a weapon damage, still there is multiple levels of skill damage and you can get, and for armor there's still multiple levels of armor that you can get. So even if you get the attribute, you can't optimize the core attribute and the other attribute roles. So I still believe optimization needs to happen. And now, since there is no other talent, there's no talent on other pieces of gears, I will say then talent swapping needs to be apart from the attribute score. The ideal scenario then we would have is one attribute swap, one talent swap, and optimization on every other piece. That would be the ideal thing, but Massive decide to dug their heels, and this is gonna be the hill they will die fighting on. That optimization is not good. And that leads to the second point, the loot quality. My experience with the game is not great right now because the loot quality is fairly below average, and it starts on Warlords of New York. The game doesn't do a very good job of explaining that the loot from Warlords of New York will be garbage. Sorry, I hit the mic. What I mean by will be garbage. From level 1 into 40, from level 31 into level 40, you're gonna start getting green gear, blue gear, and purple gear again. Uh, during a hard mode, expect get a lot of purple gear. The majority of the gear that I got on the hard mode still purple, and you wanna know what was worst? Even when I'm seeing target loot, most of the target loot still fucking purple, not yellow. Doing a hard mode, not challenge. Now, hard mode still, well, hard. Right now I'm using a gear set again, the hardwire one, because I'm soloing player and having almost immortal build, it's reasonably good. So that's a fact, but that's the point that I'm doing. Striker is probably a good bet because that's the thing. Right now, the gear sets are more viable because they are more consistent. You can't you will not fail on the talent side. You only may fail on the attribute and core attribute, and it's a one less fail than you would have otherwise. So you still can work reasonably. You can fix that fail reasonably well. Sometimes you still need to question yourself how you're gonna solve those, but you can solve nonetheless. Now, the leveling up on Warlords of New York is bad because it's not only then your old gear is trash, but your entire gear level it's gonna be useless. Until you arrive on level 40, everything is gonna be useless, and that was something interesting in I experienced. Using the True Patriot, I played until I hit level 40. What I mean by that is because I would not start putting blue gear on my character. And it only on level 38 I could start reliably getting yellow gear. Otherwise would be blue and on the rare occasion a purple. And again I would not change. Not only that, but the diamond back that I had from on before carry me reasonably well, mostly because I was stubborn as fuck, but I didn't change until almost the end. Now, when we arrive at the end, the game bugged out on me because, well, and that's a thing. Spoiler warning, but not much of a spoiler. After you finish the game, you get a new Division watch. That is the Paragon they stole from Diablo, or I don't know. There is something close on Destiny, I think. If you end up leveling up to 40 before you arrive on that, all XP that you gain during the missions are wasted. And you still see the pop-up, you still see get like the pop-up, then you reach a new level, but you don't get the apparel cache, you don't get the specialization point, and you're not gonna get a shade point to place on your shade watch after you level up. So there's that. That's stupid. Second, I want to talk about the end of the game because they're one of the only good things that I had, and sadly enough, is the story. I like the story of Warlords of New York, even though if you end up collecting like a couple of the telephones or the collectibles, then does like audio logs and stuff like that, you end up finding the twist far before. I'm gonna give you spoilers in 3, 2, 1. Last warning, I'm gonna spoil the end. Fail out, become rogue, and now she's worked for Black Tusk. We don't know if we're gonna get an ending to this story point because we don't know anything else. You're pulled back to the DC because Keener, before he died, he activated his own wave, the Rogue Wave or whatever, his Rogue Network. Let me tell you something. Keener fight is a joke. Aaron Keener was a fucking knight. The first time that I fight, I fail like twice. I was trying to fight like a normal boss, I was trying to think to do the fight. What I mean by that, I was taking cover, I stopped using skills because he started hacking you. I was killing his drones and was doing things like that I was working like thinking, how can I do that? And then there was a moment I said, fuck this shit. I started using LMG, not the Negav, because I didn't drop one. I was using I don't remember what it was. I think it was just a normal one, a 200 bullet one, I think, or a 150. I don't remember. And I used a vector. What I did was, when he's dropping, throw a Seeker Mine to blow up his deflector drone, close on him, unload the magazine of your SMG, and then unload. He's probably gonna break his armor and take a little bit of his health damage. Swap to your LMG and unload your LMG on him. That's gonna really kill him, and that's over. You're gonna get that, and that's all. Then you go back to DC, and you have to wait 1 day, in 1 or 2 days in my case, to start season. So again, I decided to start doing things like there when I really changed my gear. I stopped using the gear set, and I was the not gear set. I built up a kind of brain set, headshot focus with a sniper rifle, something like that, and I'm started using the hardwire set because well, you can craft that on level 40. And that was very good. It works well. It makes me not die because the hive mind, the revival hive, it works it works very well. But the simple fact that you cannot upgrade your exotics does bum me down because I'm still using normal weapons. I would really like to use the Chatterbox. I would really like to use the Nemesis on my rifle build, on my sniper rifle build. But my sniper rifle, then I drop on the ground, does 400k damage, and the Nemesis do 200. I think not even 200, it's 196. So the simple fact that you can't upgrade those, it's stupid. And the answer, oh, you just farm for the new exotics, that's what we want you to get it. It's stupid because, well, you don't have a new exotic sniper rifle. You don't even have a new exotic marksman rifle. You have just an assault rifle, LMG, and submachine gun. You don't have even a pistol to compete with the Liberty. And although, even if that is the case, let us remind that the exotic talents were nuttered down. The problem is here stands in a very simple matter. There is still a lot to be fixed on the Division 2. Balance, loot quality, bring the exotics to a standard level. Target loot drops is still okay, but since the quality is garbage, there is no reason to loot to do anything else. Yeah, they still need to work a lot. And sadly enough, they already said on the last state of the game, I didn't watch yet, the one that will be uploaded today. They are not going to be touching on balancing because they say the balance is working flawless. Let us remind, Massive tends to say that. They tend to say then their balancing work flawless. They always have the best balance on the world, and there's no fucking way they fucking things up. That was the case, for example, when they were talking about the hit detection glitch. They said they swear to God that thing was only on the shooting range, while there was enough footage to prove otherwise. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is my opinion. I will not say to you go and buy it. Because the best part of this update was the story, in my opinion. I really, for some fucking unknown reason, I really like the story of Warlords of New York. I like the way they give you new skills while when you fight, when you defeated a boss, although you never use any of the skills. Uh, I like the narrative, the fact then you have a clear enemy, because I never felt during the normal Division 2 you have an enemy, you never had an enemy there. I find very sad then you only talk to Keener during the end. I would prefer then you have like more conversations, because in the end he's trying to convince you, he tries to talk you into his plan, but he doesn't fully commit it. And I would really prefer there was more like talking points between him and you. I understand there is a reason for it not to do, but it should have more. Even like you have on the trailer, the cinematic trailer, he could do through echoes, leaving echoes to you so you could talk to, like having more of his person. Sadly, I know story-wise we're not gonna have conclusions on in a long time. We're not gonna have, because I don't remember, if I remember correctly, the next raid is gonna be True Sons. I don't remember how, I don't know about raids anymore. I don't follow those things, so don't start screaming about it. But the fact is, I would prefer than we had a more conclusive storytelling here. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. See you next time. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. This was the video. If you enjoyed, leave it a like. If you didn't, leave a dislike. If you have anything to say, please leave a comment. And if you want to see what the hell is gonna be coming next on this mess, subscribe. And see you guys on the next episode.